All right, so that was the end of episode 9, season 1, The Time Traveler's Pig of Gravity Falls. Um, I kind of already gave my reaction to it. Hopefully, you guys like that, but now we'll kind of dive into um, my recap and thoughts on everything. Um, so, episode starts out, they're at Stan's throwing a fair. He's obviously rigged everything. Dipper wants to win Wendy a prize, so he throws a baseball, keeps hitting her in the eye, or he hits her in the eye. Then they bump into a time traveler, and Dipper confronts him because, he made him drop the ice he was getting for Wendy's eye, which in turn made him lose Wendy to Robbie. So he's pretty pissed. So they confront the guy and they ask him, like, what are you, some kind of time traveler? Yeah, he is. So, basically, they get him to take a load off, ride some rides. They steal his time machine, which is a tape measure, which is awesome. And then they proceed to travel throughout time. Well, not throughout time yet. Dipper goes back multiple times. Your classic time travel trope of, doing something 50 times till you get it right. And then when he does eventually get it right, and he gets Wendy the prize, and he looks like he's honestly going to win Wendy over because they go on a romantic little ride, Mabel loses her pig Waddles that she has been winning every time Dipper has been losing Wendy. So as you can see, there's kind of a like a trade-off. Like, you can't have both; it's one or the other. So yeah, Mabel wants to, she wants Dipper to go back in time and change things because she wants Waddles, which is fair. I mean, I'm sorry, but Wendy is not into him, and even if she was, Dipper is a selfish guy. In every episode, maybe not every single one, but in more episodes than not, Dipper is being selfish or doing something selfish, whereas Mabel is not. She's doing the opposite. So, yeah, I was totally on Mabel's side here, and I understood where she was coming from. Especially because Pacifica actually got Waddles instead. So, they fight over the time machine, end up traveling all throughout time. They go to, dinosaurs, the future, where there's a giant baby floating around shooting laser beams, which will come back up later. And, they traveled to the 1700s and come across settlers and show them a calculator and a high five. And, they make some Oregon Trail jokes, and they even mention Victor or Wilton Tremblay or whatever his name is from the last episode. So a lot of, there's some cool references. Some other cool references are like, Sue says that the only way to dunk Stan is by shooting that thing with like some kind of arm cannon from the future, dude. And that comes back. You see a lot of the same town folk, which is cool. And basically the episode culminates in them getting back to their own time after they thought they broke the time watch or the time machine. And Dipper realizes that, Mabel is not going to be okay without Waddles. They formed a deep connection, so he does what any good person would do, and he travels back, loses Wendy, so she can get Waddles. And it's a really nice moment. The episode ends with the time traveler getting captured by Lolf Lundgren or something like that. Like, it was a play on Dolph Lundgren. Each of them had one part of the name on their little name tag, so that was pretty funny. And they drag him off, and, as they're doing it, Stan, of course, heckles one of them, who just so happens to have a futuristic arm cannon from the future, dude. And he shoots Stan into the water, dunking him, having the town cheering, because obviously, Stan has been scamming the town for God knows how long. So people are pretty happy to do that, even if they're not the ones doing it. And then the interesting part happens at this end here, the end credits, where you see the time traveler being like kind of on trial in this white space room thing, whatever, by a giant baby with a floating head. And I'm assuming he can shoot laser beams because he has a tractor beam, I don't even know what to call it, but he's like making him levitate, and he tells the time traveler, your punishment is going and cleaning up the mess that the kids made. So at different points in the show, you could see him picking up stuff that the kids were dropping as they were traveling through time. And something I forgot to mention is, they were traveling through earlier episodes. So you see him at the lake episode picking up a calculator. At the wax figure episode picking up Dipper's shoe. And even in the gnome episode, the very first episode. So something I'm wondering is, like, if you go back and you watch closely, can you see him in the background? Because honestly, it did look like background shots that he could be kind of perfectly placed and caught. So I am wondering if you go back, if you could see him, doing that. So maybe that's something I could do, or maybe that's something you guys can let me know in the comments below if you do know, if you're big enough fans. If you go back, can you see the time traveler doing that? I forgot his name, but I know he's from the year 2012 or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, pretty cool overall. In case you can't tell, this was a good time to film a reaction, and I'm glad I did, because it's, something different, and I was pretty surprised because, by the title and the thumbnail, I could tell this might be an important episode. And I definitely think that's, that holds true. I don't think we've seen the last of the time traveler, obviously, or the time traveling agents. But specifically, the thing that interested me was the giant baby. I mean, at first, when they're time traveling, you see the future and you see the baby destroying everything and people fighting it off. And you think, oh, that's so funny. Like, I thought it was just a funny little, like, wow, that's random. That's kind of weird. But then you see the post-credit scene and you're like, okay, maybe that was something more than just something funny, random, and weird. Maybe this baby is like an actual, like, thing not to be messed with. And maybe it's like the overall hero/villain of the show. Maybe it definitely plays a bigger role. So I'm interested to see where that goes. Hopefully you guys liked what I had to say about this episode, liked what I thought of it. If not, let me know in the comments down below. And like I said, also please let me know if you do, if you can see him in those other episodes, because I would like to go back and rewatch them and try to catch him if I can. But I don't just have the time to just do that. I have to know if it's worth it, pretty much. so yeah, really, really, really good episode, and I'm pretty excited to see where this goes from here, because I could see things getting pretty crazy. I really can. And I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes back into play. And I'm excited to see where they take it, I guess. Because this show has got a lot of themes and ideas that, if they do it right, could be very exciting. So, yeah. Until then, I will see you guys in the next video I decide to make.